Hello and welcome back to the Pursuit of MiSELF. I just feel like life has been like go, go, go. And from Bali to now the kids going back to school this week, it has been such a, I'm not going to, like, I use the word mission as in like everything has to be purposeful and focused and intentional. And as much as I know that to be true in so many areas of my life, I guess it just puts that added bit of pressure on when you know you have kids home and you know they have the expectations and they're getting ready for school. We've got 6 months of the year left and, you know, we're growing this podcast and we've got Align and Elevate, that is my group coaching program that's just launched. And I'm running masterclasses and workshops, all which are very, very exciting. But the biggest gift that I give to myself at the moment is the ability just to stop and constantly recalibrate, really sink into not going and going and going and going. And, you know, because I think that's what we do. We go, 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 and we don't give ourselves permission to pull back and have a look. How far have I come? How can I be proud? I even had this conversation with my coach the other day, of I want more and I want more. And she's like, stop, take a deep breath and have a look at how far you've come. And my little message for you is this, if this is resonating, there is always something, a version of you that will be proud of how you're showing up today. So if you had have looked at the version of me 6 months ago, would I have been able to carry and handle all the things that I'm doing right now? I don't know, but I know that version would still be proud of all the things I've achieved today. So it's in the stop and the taking the deep breath. And, you know, as I say to my clients all the time, I really hope that you are super proud of yourself, because there is going to be something or some version of you that will look back. If you said, this is what I'll be doing in the next 6 months, that they'll be like, oh my gosh, well done you really put yourself out there, you did it, you're creating it. And it's really important that we continue to connect in with that feeling rather than just head down, up and continue moving through life. It's in that celebration, in that proud moments, in holding yourself in that you will really find the growth and give yourself permission to pat yourself on the back. It's so, so important. So that brings me to this episode today, which I'm so excited to bring to you. I know that so many of you will connect with this on actually so many different levels. I didn't know that this podcast would go in so many different directions, but we talk, you know, entrepreneurship and business and connection and family and feeling guilty. In the work that I do, and in the authenticity and connection and identity and business and entrepreneurship that I hold so dearly to my heart, with the messages that I shout from the rooftops, I really think you're going to love this episode. What if the career you thought you'd never have, that one that was going to feel lit up like it was your purpose, what if that career was still ahead of you? In this episode, I sit down with Brooke Wright. She is an AI strategist, a neurodivergent entrepreneur, and a mum of 2 who didn't feel like she had a career until she was 37. What started as burnout and questioning her life, career, her purpose, and her values, a caravan trip turned it into a complete reinvention of how she shows up in her life, in motherhood, in her business, and in her relationship. In this episode, we talk deeply about the pivotal moment she knew she couldn't keep living the way she was, how she rebuilt her life and relationship from a place of authenticity and truth, the courage it took to actually do that. We talk about letting go of the guilt that you feel as the default parent and how she had to redefine her roles in her marriage, what it actually means to use AI to amplify your identity and not just use it as an outsourcing tool, why you don't need permission for anyone else to start your next chapter, as this woman has reinvented herself over and over again. Brooke shares how AI can support your creativity, your nervous system, and even your parenting, but only when you stay connected and anchored in who you are. This episode, it's for the woman that feels like she's been boxed in for too long, the one that knows she's actually capable of more but doesn't know where to look for support and doesn't know how to start. If you've ever second-guessed your voice, your worth, or whether it's too late in life to reinvent and start again, this episode is for you. Welcome to the Pursuit of MiSELF, the podcast. Here we take ownership of our healing. We rewrite the rules, we turn knowledge into wisdom, and we lead our lives with intention. I'm your host, Rain, and it's my mission to empower you to get back into the driver's seat of your life. Welcome, Brooke. I'm so excited to have you on the Pursuit of MiSELF, the podcast. You're doing some incredible work, and honestly, from the moment we met, you've really inspired me and I've wanted to connect with you. So I'm really excited to have you on. Welcome.
Thanks so much for having me. And I'm so excited for this as well.
Before we really get into this, and I know we've chatted a lot on the back end about AI and connection and identity and all the things that go with it. I wanted to ask you, when no one is watching, out of everything, who is Brooke? What lights you up? What does she do?
It's a very big starting question. I love it. It's very very on brand.
You're welcome.
So I guess there's so many ways I could answer this, but one of the things is I have never really felt like I've had a career until this point. And so now that's like something that I'm like, oh my gosh, like I'm finally stepping into, I guess, this potential, this like passion. That's really exciting. But yeah, so I guess part of that is what no one sees is like all this like learning that I'm doing behind closed doors to basically be the best I can be in my business to therefore support clients. But then there's this whole, I've got 2 kids and an amazing husband. That is such a huge part of my life. And I think for me, I have had this really like funny journey to get to this point. But at the core of like who I am is about like empowering women. And so right now that is through like AI and automation, but in a previous life, that was like hosting women's running retreats. But I feel like I've gathered all of these skills along the way and it's kind of come to a head to this point where I'm at the moment. But at the core of who I am, will always be the biggest cheerleader for other women. So I think that is hopefully that people see on socials. But that is definitely a big part of who I am behind closed doors as well.
I love that. And for anyone listening or watching, how old are you? Because I feel like a lot of the stuff that we do, people succumb to the fact that they might be too old to start, too old to step into that business, to change careers, to really go for it. And when you just said, this is the first time I actually feel like I have a business, how old are you and what does that actually mean to you?
Yeah, so I'm 37 and I went to uni, then I worked in like universities, local government, and was just like in these kind of project admin roles and was just like so underutilized and so unfulfilled. And that's why I always had like a side hustle, like the women's running retreats, just something like to make me feel like I was pursuing my purpose. But it just like I would watch my husband succeed in his career and I was like, I have never felt like that. Or my best friend who is like amazing and has built this incredible career over in San Francisco. And I was just like, I have never had that. And I just thought that I never would have that. And then like 2 years ago, AI kind of came on the scene and I started playing with it. And at the time, I didn't realize that like that was, not everyone was doing that. And I just was like, wow, I'm really good at this and have built a business out of that. And now I'm like, oh, I have this career that I'm really proud of. But for such a long time, I just couldn't relate to that. And I couldn't see myself as that person, if that makes sense. And I got diagnosed as having ADHD at 35 and then also after that as being autistic. And that just like helped me kind of understand myself a lot more. And maybe like give myself a bit more grace, like that corporate world. I would burn out like every year. I would get sick. And then that was almost like a permission slip to take like a few weeks off work. Like, so physically I might be better, but I would then take a couple more weeks because I was burnt out. And my GP was like, oh yeah, that checks out, being autistic particularly, like that masking. And she's like, yeah, that that makes sense. Yeah. So I guess 37, and here I am kind of reinventing myself again.
I love that. Do you remember if there was like a pivotal moment, like this moment where you were like, I just can't do this anymore. I need to figure out a way to move forward.
Yes. So I don't know if you know this, but we actually were traveling around in our caravan for 12 months, like up until September last year. And so before that, yeah, my husband and I were just in the kitchen one night and basically we're like that. Like we were just like, there's got to be more than this. Like we were just both working really hard in roles that weren't fulfilling us. And we were just like, let's buy a caravan. Let's go travel. And that kind of set us off on this journey. And now we live in Bustleton and we're really happy here. And it's so interesting. We have come to this place for me as my 37-year-old self, and I'm meeting people who have no history of me or any assumptions. And like, that's so freeing to just meet people as my 37-year-old self. Like and watching us as a family, I guess, like we've kind of gone through this full reinvention and like we're creating community. We're doing all of these things that where we used to live, I think we had been there for such a long time that we couldn't kind of shed that skin, if that makes sense. And so that traveling for us was like a huge turning point.
Awesome. It's interesting because sometimes I also call it like a circuit breaker. Sometimes when we're doing the same thing over and over again for so long, we just need that circuit breaker to create a different perspective, to create some clarity around what we actually want, what's most important, what the values are.
Yeah.
So you've literally only been doing this business for 2 years.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I kind of took what I was doing, one from like my, roles in local government and unis, but then what I was doing on the side with my retreats business, like I built the website, I built all the automations, all of that, and was like, oh, hang on, like maybe it's not the women's running retreats, it's that side of things, like the actual building the business, building the systems that was lighting me up. And that's when I pivoted. And obviously I couldn't do the retreats while we were traveling too. So that was like another catalyst for pursuing this side of it.
And I guess one question I'll say is, what would you say to women that feel like they're sitting back waiting for that permission slip to actually start something, or to realize that they need a circuit breaker, or to move and pivot in a different direction in life? Sort of, they're sitting back, they might have the ideas, they know that they're not fulfilled, that they're getting burnt out every year in this corporate world. And I'm not saying entrepreneurship is for everyone.
No.
We know that entrepreneurship is definitely a different ball game. But for anyone listening, what would you say to her?
I would say listen to that voice. Like, it's there. And I think I probably pushed it down for a long time. And then it got to a point, like where my relationship with my husband, like it wasn't great, like to be honest with you. And we needed that circuit breaker and have some pretty hard conversations about like, were we happy, what we needed, that sort of thing. And so that permission slip, though, that comes from you. Like it's not going to come from anybody else.
Yeah. I love it. And what also, starting this business as an entrepreneur, I know you did the retreats and you've done entrepreneurship, but in the last couple of years, even with the disconnection to, let's call it a reconnection with your husband, because that's your values, that's your family values.
Yeah.
Are there any belief systems that came up along the way that you've really had to work through, whether you could do this, maybe imposter syndrome, whether this was taking time away from your family, being an entrepreneur? What sort of has come up for you over the last couple of years?
Mate, you've just nailed all of it. Do you do this?
I was like, not to put words in your mouth or anything, but.
So all of that, like one is that imposter syndrome. And I think too, because for such a long time, I was kind of really boxed into just these admin roles where I knew I could do so much more than that. And that's not to say that that's not a fulfilling role, but for me, it wasn't. right? And so, but then I would never pursue opportunities above that because I was worried that I maybe couldn't do it. And I still sometimes feel like that. Like, who am I to be in this space? Like, I don't have a tech background. I've just kind of figured this stuff out. I've done courses. I've watched like so much YouTube just trying to figure things out so that my clients don't waste all this time. The part about taking like time away from the family, like I am in this phase at the moment where I'm trying to grow and scale my business. And it's interesting that my husband and I are like switching roles a bit. Like he is the one who's doing most of the school pickups and things like that because he has like more, I wouldn't say flexibility, but he knows that I am in this season, right? And like there's a lot of guilt that comes with that, like where like, am I not a present mom? Am I working too much? Like it's really interesting, all of this stuff that I'm noticing does come up because for such a long time, that wasn't my role. It was like we were talking about before, I was the default parent. So my husband was earning a lot more than me. So of course it made sense that for most of the time, like we definitely balance things, but he would, like I would take the sick days most of the time because it made sense, that sort of thing. And now those roles are changing. And yeah, it's really interesting though, like the kind of guilt and the thoughts that do surface sometimes around that.
Do you have strategy of how you move through that as these thoughts and fears? I'm going to call them fears because they are. When they surface, how do you move through them?
Yeah, I think this is something that, I've worked on a lot of therapy coming into good use now, but like acknowledging them, like that's really important. Being like, oh, this is interesting, like, and really kind of taking a non-judgmental view. Like, this is an annoying thought, but that doesn't make it true. That's like a good strategy that I use. And then just like trying to reframe it too. And I'll often tell myself like, this is a season, like another season, a previous season, I was at home with the kids all the time. So like, why, like I am kind of entitled to this new season. So just, yeah.
It's holding yourself with compassion and not judgment, isn't it?
Yeah.
I guess the other thing for anyone listening, because I know a lot of my listeners are married or a lot are single as well, but was there any fear as you started to grow into this season and have the roles shift that you weren't going to be held by your husband in this change? Or did you just manage to find your courage and speak your truth?
Yeah, I think like my husband and I have always worked on sharing the load, like, and I'm really proud of that. But then obviously like I was still the default because as I said before, it made sense. But we've kind of just fallen into these roles. And it's only that we're kind of looking back now like, oh, like it's like an observation of where we are. And it actually feels really aligned to both of us. Like we kind of are enjoying this season. And I know that I say I'm lucky because I have his support, but also I'm like, well, yeah, like I also think it's an expectation, right? When you are in a healthy relationship that you will support each other through these seasons.
Of that. And it's so inspiring because honestly, I think a lot of the things that keep people stuck when it is such a drastic change or when it is bringing a new version of myself or when I'm shedding and growing and creating this authentic life, am I going to be held by my friends, my partner? Am I going to be looked at different by my children as the roles change? And to be able to move through that and give yourself permission to do it. And now the evidence is there that you're literally thriving from facing those fears is really inspiring.
Yeah, it's definitely a journey. Like not every day feels like you're making that progress, but I think it's just coming back to just to the why and also, yeah, reminding yourself that it's important to follow these pursuits for yourself and for your kids to see and for your partner to see you outside of, the roles that you've always had. Like it's okay to kind of change.
And I would love you in your words, because I know there's lots of different, AI and everything that you're an entrepreneur, you built your business only in the infancies. What exactly is AI?
Yeah. So I guess like there's generative AI, which is our large language models. So ChatGPT, Claude, things like that. So when people are talking about AI on social media, that's pretty much the core of what they're talking about. So it's a large language model. It predicts patterns of text. And so, we put a prompt in like, hey, chat, can you help me plan my meals for this week? And then based on all of the data that it's been trained on, it spits out an example of what it thinks is the most likely answer to that, based on all of the data it's been trained on.
Wow, so interesting. I'm still blown away in this world. So I'm going to ask you pretty basic questions about it. And I guess even coming from my angle, in my world where everything is about learning your heart, connecting with your soul, your authenticity. Who are you? Like, what is your passion? What are your values? What are you bringing to the world? I've felt such a disconnect for so many long with AI, especially knowing now that my kids are kind of being taught it at school, and it's part of their curriculum. It's part of their world growing up. So I'm like, holy, okay, shit, I need to learn this. Is always my thing. If my kids are having to learn it, I'm going to need to learn it.
Yeah.
And you've been so incredible in teaching me. But what would you say, I guess, to someone like me who is coaching and connecting and the human, how can we integrate that and actually have it complement our life without it taking over the stuff that we do?
Yeah, I think this is a really important point. And despite kind of being in this space all day, every day, I still don't think that we should outsource everything to AI. And I think it's being really clear on how you are comfortable using this technology so that you can kind of put in your own personal boundaries around what you are going to use it for or what you're okay using it for, and things that you're like, actually, no, that doesn't feel good. I'm not going to use it like that. And then also thinking of AI as an idea amplifier. So you want to bring your brilliance and help get AI to help you amplify those ideas. So maybe that is, if you have this beautiful heart-led business, but you don't know much about marketing, well, AI can help you with that. It's not, taking the core of your business away, but it's like, can I create a project or a custom GPT that is a marketer for my business? Can it teach me how to market? Because for so many of us, we've started these businesses, but all of a sudden we have to be a social media marketer. We have to be posting on like LinkedIn, TikTok, Instagram, building out funnels.
Yes,
It's like, oh
yes,
my God, what the hell's a funnel?
yes.
And so it's like, okay, well, AI can teach you about that stuff. And there are courses you can do that, but not everyone has like access or time or the privilege to pay for this stuff. Whereas like if you can afford a $20 subscription to ChatGPT, so much of this can be opened up to you. And I think for like coaches, things like that, it's like repurposing what you're already doing with your clients with AI. So can you take that call transcript and can you create an activity for your client to do post call? You guys have already had that discussion. That's not replacing you or your brilliance, but it's like, hey, chat, can you give my client like 3 exercises to do this week based on our call?
Yeah, I love that. I was explaining it to a client the other day, and just the way that, if you had an assistant in the old days, you're the CEO of a company, you're in a meeting, you've got someone like handwriting, taking notes, you walk out of that meeting and you just want the notes from the meeting. That's all you want. It's like training someone up to be that kind of person, the note taker that gives you these points. And I get my question to you also, Brooke, is like, what would your personal boundaries around AI be? Like, what do you decide not to use it for?
Yeah, that's a really, really good point. I don't love image generation. Yeah. Like I don't love it. I don't it's not that great. I mean, there are people out there doing really great things with it. But I just think like AI art, it's just I don't love it. It's just a personal thing. And I do think that with all of the kind of AI art being created, there actually is going to be this real craving for real human art. So like hopefully that pushes the value up for artists. That's kind of, I'm like hoping that that will actually happen. And just that like the mass kind of generation of content created by AI. Like I am very prolific on social media, but it's all, you know, like it's me showing up. I'm not into like the AI clones. I think there is a place for those in, say, training. Like if you're onboarding staff and you have like this massive SOP document, you can put that into AI and create maybe an avatar or a training video that engages your staff more than a 15-page document. But in terms of like that mass production, and at the core of it, it's just marketing to us to buy more things. I'm not into using AI for that.
And I think also I'm interrupting this episode with incredibly good intentions. If any of these podcasts are resonating with you, if you desire to know your heart, if you desire to set up a very strong foundation to start that business, to rebuild from breakdown, to find out who you are authentically and find the courage to actually step into that, then I want you to get in touch. I have an incredible program called Align and Elevate. It is my group coaching program that will teach you how to rebuild from the ashes up. This isn't about adding more things to your life. This isn't about finding the roadmap, the blueprint. This is about understanding who you are, what you stand for, what makes you you, so that you can build a life from that place, not from the pleasing, not from the should haves, the have tos, not from the overwhelm, the burnt out, but rebuilding a life from you, your heart. We heal in community. We share in community. You get to be guided by me. It is a 10-week program and I am calling you up and in. I do this program every single time I hold ladies through, because every time that I do this program, I shed more layers. I shed more money stories. I shed more love stories. I shed more grief stories. I shed more relationship stories, parenting stories, you name it. This is the best friend. This is the opening that you need to get back in touch with yourself so that you can build the life you desire. You deserve it. I'm here for you. Let me know on Instagram. Let me know below. But if this calls to you in any way, I'd love to speak to you about Align and Elevate. It is here to stay. It is here for a reason, and it is here to serve you. And I think also, you know, with the art and with the actual like ChatGPT, you know, we can actually do it. Like I've had a look and we can actually do anything on it in a world where human connection, I find, is like of craving more and more human connection. People are every single day. You could literally go into ChatGPT and be like, hi, if I was to hire Rain as my coach or as my mentor, you know, give me the top 5 things that she would advise me or help me or support me. Or you could go in and be like, okay, if I was to start my wellness routine, like how many times would I meditate? How many, you know, journaling, what would, and the ChatGPT would literally give you a schedule of what you can do.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm like, how do people actually decipher between what is, you know, inauthentic, mass produced coaches and mentors and all the stuff that we see online, and how do they know when connecting with a real, authentic human coach, mentor, whatever it is? How do you know that difference?
Yeah, I think it's going to get quite tricky for people, but I don't think that, like, to me, AI, you know, it's this idea amplifier. It's also a mirror. So like if you're asking it questions, it's just going to spit back something like we're talking about that it predicts to be like the most likely answer to that question that you've asked. And so you can't replace that strategy. You can't replace, you know, your brilliance, right? And like that you teach, like your life experience. ChatGPT cannot recreate that in an answer that it gives someone, even if, you know, it's like, here's my coach. Like, can you please give me 5 exercises that are likely that Rain would suggest for me? Like, it's still pulling from such a massive data set. Like, it can't replace your life experiences that you then give, as part of your coaching experience. So as an example, I have a business strategist bot that I have created that I bounce ideas off.
And just quickly, for anyone who doesn't know what a bot is,
yes.
Bot.
So a bot, it is a custom GPT. So within ChatGPT, you can create your own little bots, and they have like a knowledge base. So you're basically creating a little version of ChatGPT, but it's your own customized version. So it can have, information about your business, your branding guidelines, any of your offers. Or I've made some that are like meal planners, but it has like specific information. It knows what my 6-year-old son doesn't like to eat. All of that sits within the back of it. And so it's customized, and that's the knowledge base that it always refers back to. So I have this business strategist bot that knows all of my offers, my ideal clients, things like that. I still have a business coach, and every time I get on a call with her, I'm like, oh my God, like you're amazing. No amount of back and forthing with this ChatGPT bot is going to give me the results that my coach will give me in, half an hour. It won't.
That's interesting with the meal plan. What other things does AI support you with in the back end to help you make your life more streamlined and in flow? And I guess give you back your time. I mean, to sit there and think, what am I going to cook for dinner? What are the ingredients? This person does rah. How much time does this give you back? Are you feeling supported? Because I'm feeling like you're so supported right now.
Yes, but also it's like you need to be mindful of that, so you're not just filling it with more busy work. But yeah, so you can take a photo using the ChatGPT app of your fridge and be like, can you tell me what to make for dinner tonight? And it'll look at your ingredients and give you like a recipe, which is amazing.
Wow. This is blowing my mind.
And yeah, so I have another little bot that I have created. I made it for me, but it's a free bot now that I just give out to people. It's called Brain Buddy, and it's like an ADHD executive function coach. You just drop in your to-do list and it helps you kind of get started. So it will give you a few quick wins, and then it will help you get into flow, which is really good for when you're feeling really overwhelmed. Like, I don't know where to start. You just drop that all in, and it just is like, cool, let's take a breath, start with this, and then gives you another little task. And then, it might give you something meatier once you've got that kind of flow going. Yeah. So that's another really cool way that I use AI.
And I hear you talk about using AI and not letting AI use you.
Yes, that is key. It's amazing, but it's our junior staff assistant. So we have to be responsible to check its work. Like, if you're blindly just outsourcing things to AI, like you need to be responsible for the output. Like you need to edit, you need to look at it. Has that made something up? Am I comfortable, say you're using it for content, am I comfortable with this going out? Like, just like you would if you have a team of staff and you're the leader, like you need to, 1, make sure it's trained properly, and 2, overseeing that stuff.
Yeah, which is something, that I think gets missed a lot in this world now with so many options. And, the beauty about it is not only is it the gift of time and the gift of, I guess, the ability to do more things and the ability to organize our lives, but it is giving a lot of women the opportunity to go out and start businesses on their own and, see what that feels like and that they can be supported in so many different ways. And I guess, now that I'm in my phase, as we said earlier, like it's a bit of a overwhelming experience, the old AI, but I guess it was probably like that when Snapchat first came onto the market. That was overwhelming for me. So here we are in the world of AI, and you get to be, fully supported. And what is the biggest gift that AI has given you as an entrepreneur?
The ability to learn any skill that I want.
Oh, wow. I love that.
It's a double-edged sword. I get it. We're in this age of information overload and also like misinformation, that sort of, it's out there. But we can also learn anything we want. we don't have to go to uni for a lot of things. If you are 37 like me and want to reinvent yourself and learn a new skill, guess what? YouTube and AI are your best friends. And that might sound like a bit scrappy, which it is, but like I have taught myself how to read code, how to do so many things that I just had no idea that I could do with AI and YouTube videos. And like that is so cool to me. And if that's like learning a language, like it doesn't have to be business related, but that I think that is pretty cool.
When you were at that point of the end of the corporate job and burnt out and decided to go travel, do you remember, like at that point, what your deepest desire was? Like, did you have this burning desire? Just was it for freedom? Was it for entrepreneurship? Was it just to find something to do outside of what you were doing? Was it to maybe have more time with the family? Like, what was that burning desire that you said, nah, fuck this, I've actually got to jump on board and do something about it?
Yeah, I think it was a combination of things. It was, there's got to be more to life than clocking in and out 9 to 5 every day. And I've felt that for a really, really long time, like probably my whole life. Like, we're not just designed to work, and we just needed a reset and we wanted to find community. We just really weren't feeling like we had found our people in that season of life with young kids. And yeah, we wanted the freedom to just hang out, get to know our kids more as well, like rather than just kind of sending them to school, doing the morning rush, getting home, they're exhausted, we're exhausted. Like it wasn't a very nice dynamic a lot of the time. So yeah, it was just all of those things and just really feeling like we needed a change. We didn't really know what that change was at the time. We were looking at moving somewhere else, but we were just like, oh, we're just going to kind of transport that life to another location. So for us, traveling just felt like, it was just like this open-ended change to see where it took us.
I want to quickly touch on your money mindset at that time. Was there a point where you were like, I love AI, or I love what I know I want to create, but can I actually make money from this? Like, what markers did you put in place? Did you have this like, aha, oh my gosh, I can? Was there the fear, or was there just like, I'm just going to take a step and see how this feels and what this looks like? How was the money mindset around this shift at that time for you?
Yeah, I think I had done the retreats and that was amazing, but felt really tricky to kind of monetize, like if I'm being really honest. And then just for me with the AI stuff, I started realizing like I am actually good at this and I'm like a lot further along than a lot of other people, and realizing this is like a gap that I can fill that people will pay me for. And yeah, that's something that, like you kind of, I don't know if it's wrestle with, but it's like making sure that I'm valuing like my time and charging enough, like that balance, getting that balance right has been a bit tricky. But yeah, there was like a bit of a turning point where I was like, holy shit, people are going to pay me for this stuff. And it just felt easy for me to kind of do this thing that I was naturally good at. And businesses were like, we need you.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
What would you say, and this is probably talking to me when we first connected what was it been, a year ago now, but what would you say to the woman who is afraid that AI will make her business feel robotic or sort of strip away their authenticity and their originality?
Yeah. And I love that we have worked together because I know that was a fear of yours. I think it's, one, get really clear on where your boundaries are and kind of look like, what is that fear? Like just let's like dig a bit deeper. Are you worried that like you won't have a business eventually? Like, is that you're worried that AI will replace you and your business? Because I don't think that that's going to happen personally. I think as we've talked about, we're craving even like post-COVID like face to face, human connection. So I think that that's actually going to be amplified. But then also, like, don't think about it in just like the realm of, I don't know, like content creation. Like, that is such a small part of what AI can do. And like, how can we use this technology to amplify what you're already doing? How can it just, where does it sit within your business to take what you're already doing and repurpose it, or leverage it into tools that your clients can use so that you're not having to be available 20.
I guess also, if you don't do the unblocking and the identity work and the connection work along the way, if you're doing it as a low self-worth output, trying to get your value from AI and from the content that it's creating for you, it can be a pretty slippery slope. The connection piece and the high self-worth, it's like, this is me. How can you, as you said, amplify who I am and what I'm doing, rather than how can you give me an identity so that I can have a business?
Yeah, exactly. It's you bring the brilliance, your IP, that, and use AI to amplify that, not the other way around.
So Brooke, tell us, what are you doing now? What are you most focused on?
Yeah, there's a couple of things. I am just constantly pushing boundaries to see what else I can create with AI. That kind of ties back into that, like, you can learn any skill you want now. Obviously, like maybe like doctors, surgery, that sort of thing, not so much, but in this online space, you can. And I am running workshops where I teach women in small business how to like build these bots so they can scale their businesses. I've set myself a goal to teach 10,000 women about AI by 2026. So yeah, I'm just like knuckling down on that, trying to get my message out. And hopefully starting a podcast soon to kind of help that. Yeah, and just kind of, I feel like I'm in this learning and growth phase of like, where, what else can I learn? What haven't I considered that then I can, teach clients?
It's so interesting because as you talk, it's like, helping women reclaim their time, and their energy and their headspace. It's very similar to what I do, but on a very different way, right?
Yeah. I think they complement each other nicely, actually.
Absolutely. And the more we talk about it, I'm like, yeah, when used well and when used with intention, it's a beautiful complement, to be able to be in this empowering women's space and give them an opportunity to grow a business, an opportunity to spend more time with their family, an opportunity to spend money. We all know how to spend money. An opportunity to make money, right?
Yes.
And find time and clarity is such a gift. So it really is a beautiful gift with the work that you do.
Thank you. Yeah. I just think that this can level the playing field a bit, but you've got to kind of lean into learning how to use it.
And if someone is listening and going, I'm really curious, I know I need support, but I just don't know where to start, I'm quite overwhelmed, where would they start with learning a little bit about this?
So if you follow me on Instagram, I'm always posting, just trying to take away some of that overwhelm. But just write down stuff that you do all the time or that takes a lot of mental load, and just be like, hey, can AI or automations take some of this? And then just open up ChatGPT or Claude, whichever one you choose. Just choose one. You don't need anything else, honestly, and just have a little play. Like, hey, chat, this is the first time I've opened you. Here are some things that I'd like to help with. Can you help me? Just have a conversation with it.
I love that. And one final question. I know I'm probably going to put you on the spot here, but if there was like one value that you lived by or one belief that you lived by when it comes to anchoring you into the work you do and anchoring into your family, do you have like something like a mission statement or a value that you know that no matter what happens, no matter which way I pivot, like this is who I am and this is what I'm doing. This is why I'm here.
Yeah, I think it is to show other people that they can do this too. That's always been my kind of mission, whether that's talking about like my own mental health struggles, things like that. I've always kind of shared my story so that other people can maybe see themselves in that and be like, I can do this too, or this is actually possible, can feel better, or now it is, like, oh, maybe I could use this. And that has always kind of been my story and my mission.
I love it. So where can listeners find you? Where can they learn from you? Where can you?
So I hang out on Instagram a lot. So you can find me at right_mode or check out my website. I'm just going through a rebrand at the moment, but it's currently rightwayvs.com. But yeah, just Instagram's probably where it's at. I love chatting in the DMs, and I'm always just trying to share stuff and make it feel really accessible for people. So that's a good place to start.
I actually have a final question about Instagram, because I find with my clients, this is a huge block with them. How do you feel about, being an entrepreneur, and obviously Instagram's such a huge marketing tool? Do you feel pressure to show up there? Did it take courage to start showing up there? Like, how do you feel about Instagram and showing up there to market your business?
Yeah, 100%. So in December last year, I had 150 followers on Instagram because I just never showed up. Now that's just clocked over to 1,000. And followers aren't everything, but if you are putting your message out there and your audience, like your growing and aligned audience, can help you grow your business. Like it's a fact. I think just like we just have to get comfortable with it. Like it is a business tool. It's a business exercise, but do it in a way that feels good for you. Not everyone needs to show up every day, but make sure it aligns with who you are and your values. Don't try and be someone that you're not on Instagram. Be the person that you are. That's coming back to this connection, this human connection that we're all craving. Your message is going to land if it's your actual message. AI can help you maybe articulate a caption a little bit better, but bring your message and let AI refine.
I'm going to leave it on that, because I think a lot of women that are sitting back going, oh, I don't want to. It's like, no, it's almost like you nearly have to start growing your business and becoming an entrepreneur. And I'm so excited that you've been on and shared so much wisdom and inspiration, Brooke, honestly, from building businesses and to family and to facing your fears and to building something around your life. I think people are going to find a lot of value out of this episode. So thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me, Rain. It's been awesome.
You're welcome. And I'm sure we'll see you next time.
See ya.